Good morning, students. Since we have finished the first chapter of chemistry, which was matter in our surroundings, today we are starting chapter 5 from your science textbook, which is the fundamental unit of life. In this video, I'll just try to give you an introduction to this chapter, and in the upcoming videos, we will try to discuss in details about the other contents of the chapter. So let's start, and to begin with, if we study about the detailed structure of living organisms, we will come across many things that make up the body, which means आप अगर आपके चारों तरफ जितने भी लिविंग ऑर्गेनिजम्स हैं उनका डिटेल्ड स्ट्रक्चर फॉलो करेंगे, देन यू विल कम अक्रॉस, यू विल फाइंड that all these living organisms are made up of many things, many components. जैसे कि for example, suppose let me take living organism. मैंने कोई भी एक लिविंग ऑर्गेनिज्म लिया, सपोज एलो. ये जो लिविंग ऑर्गेनिज्म है, it will be made up of many things, many components. Suppose component number 1, component number 2, component number 3. So many components. Component number 4 ऐसे बहुत सारे components होंगे. Okay. Now, अगर ये जो components है जिनसे ये living organism बना है, इनको फिर मैं individually अगर देखूँ तो वो हर एक component again फिर से बहुत सारे components से बना होगा. Are you getting it? ये जो लिविंग ऑर्गेनिज्म है, इट इज मेड अप ऑफ दिस कंपोनेंट्स 1 2 3 4. ओके, ईच कंपोनेंट इज अगेन मेड अप ऑफ मेनी अदर कंपोनेंट्स. सो ऐसे करते करते, ये ऑर्डर फॉलो करते करते, इफ यू गो टू द स्मॉलेस्ट लेवल, एट द स्मॉलेस्ट लेवल द बॉडी ऑफ ऑल लिविंग ऑर्गेनिजम्स इज मेड अप ऑफ टीनी माइक्रोस्कोपिक यूनिट्स कॉल्ड सेल्स. तो अभी जो मैंने आपको दिखाया था कि लिविंग ऑर्गेनिजम्स बहुत सारे कंपोनेंट्स से बना हुआ है. ऑल दिस कंपोनेंट्स अगेन आर मेड ऑफ मेनी अदर कंपोनेंट्स विच अगेन आर मेड ऑफ अनदर अदर कंपोनेंट्स. सो इफ यू कंटिन्यू दिस वे, ultimately you will find that at the smallest level a living organism is made up of very small units called cells. Here we have mentioned microscopic units. Microscopic unit मतलब जो units which are not visible to the naked eye, which can be seen only by the microscope. तो इनको हम क्या बुलाएंगे? This will be called as cells. Okay. Now if you look into the etymology of the word cell, ये cell word का origin कहाँ से आया? The word cell is derived from the Latin word called cellula, which means a little room. From the Latin language, the word cell has been derived, and उसका origin किस word से था? The word called cellula, which in that language means a little room. So ये था etymology of the word cell, the origin of the word cell. Now if you look closely in this figure which is depicted here, you can see that here there are some bricks, brick number 1, brick number 2, brick number 3, brick number 4. So all these bricks, ये bricks मिला के क्या हो रहा है? They are combining these bricks together. ये चारों bricks को combine किया गया है यहाँ पे with cement and all these things. So when these bricks are combined together, ultimately what will be the structure? The structure will be of this one. यहाँ पे जो आपको वॉल दिखाई दे रहा है, दिस वॉल इज द रिजल्ट ऑफ कॉम्बिनेशन ऑफ ऑल दिस ब्रिक्स टुगेदर. कॉम्बिनेशन ऑफ ऑल दिस ब्रिक्स टुगेदर. तो ये ब्रिक्स मिला के क्या बना है? ये वॉल बना है. ओके, ये ब्रिक्स मिला के ये वॉल बना है. नाउ इफ वी combine these walls, I mean if you combine 4 walls, you will get a room. Are you getting it? First we are combining bricks. Let me show you here. First of all, we are combining bricks. When we combine bricks, we get wall. And when we combine four walls, we get a room. And again, when you combine some rooms together, you will get a house. So this is the chronology, right? You have bricks, you combine them, you will get wall. You combine them, you will get room. When you combine rooms, you will get house. Okay? In the same manner, ये जो आपको यहाँ पे एनालॉजी मैंने दिखाया, with the help of this, we will try to understand the structure of our body also. कोई भी लिविंग ऑर्गेनिज्म होगा, उसका स्ट्रक्चर सेम वैसे ही होगा जैसे हमने घर का स्ट्रक्चर दिखाया था. घर बनता है रूम से, रूम बनता है वॉल्स से, वॉल्स बनते हैं ब्रिक से. सिमिलरली यू सी एन ऑर्गेनिज्म, एक ऑर्गेनिज्म है. दिस ऑर्गेनिज्म इज मेड अप ऑफ ऑर्गन सिस्टम. बहुत सारे ऑर्गन सिस्टम मिला के ऑर्गेनिज्म बनेगा और बहुत सारे ऑर्गन्स मिला के ये ऑर्गन सिस्टम बनेगा. सिमिलरली कुछ टिश्यूज़ मिला के ऑर्गन बनेंगे एंड अगेन सेल्स मिला के टिश्यूज़. If you go to the reverse order here, first of all we'll be having cells. Combination of cells will make tissue. Combination of some tissues will make organ. Combination of organs will make organ system. And combination of organ system will make a living organism. Clear? Now I'll try to depict this, show you this clearly with the help of this diagram. Here you see, first of all, you have a cell, this one. Combination of such cells, combination of many of such cells will form something called this, which is called tissue. Okay, let me write down. This is your cell. Okay, and this one is your tissue. And many of these tissues will form this one, which is called organ. Okay, this is your organ. And many of these organs will give you organ system. यहाँ पे आपको डायग्राम में दिखाता हूँ. ये जो दिस ऑर्गन इज कॉल्ड स्टोमक. ये जो ऑर्गन है इसको स्टोमक बोलते हैं. एंड here lies your stomach. You can see I'm showing here by highlights. This is your stomach, and this stomach with the combination of this intestine, liver, pancreas, this food pipe, all this together will form this organ system. और ऐसे ही बहुत सारे organ system मिला के ultimately you will get a human organism. Okay, this is the structure. फिर से आप follow करें. First of all you have cells. Some cells combine to form tissue. These tissues combine to form organ. Organs combine to form organ system, and organ system finally combines to form organism. And यहाँ पे जो names है, the names here, don't follow these names now because it will be tough for you. We'll study about the details of all these names later. That this cell was it was known as cuboidal epithelial cell. This tissue was known as digestive epithelial tissue, and they combine together to form organ stomach. And when the stomach with other organs combine, they form digestive system, and some other systems like digestive system combine together. Ultimately, you will get a human organism. So these names are not to be followed in details now. We'll discuss about them later. So don't go to the names of this. Just try to get the idea that cells combine to form tissues. Tissues combine to form organ. Organs combine to form organ system. Then we have some organ systems combining together to form human organism. ये बस ये आप follow करो ध्यान से. Next, I'll give you another diagram to depict the same example, the structure of living organism. Here you can see this is a cell which is called nerve cell, and some nerve cells will again combine to form a nerve tissues. Some nerve tissues will again form to make organ called brain, and the brain with the actually this part is your brain part. Okay, the brain with this is your backbone. The brain with backbones and all these nerves in your body together, they will form a system which is called the organ system, and here will be calling it as the nervous system. And the nervous systems with other kind of systems in your body, like we discussed earlier, like digestive system, तो ये digestive system, nervous system, ऐसे बहुत सारे systems मिला के ultimately you will get your human organism. I hope it is clear now that first of all, when we combine cells, we get tissues. When tissues are combined, we will get organ. When organs are combined, we'll get organ system. And when organ systems are combined, we get the living organism. This is the chronology of structure of living organisms. Okay. Now moving ahead, let me write this here. Cells make tissues. Tissues together make organ. Organs make organ system. Okay. Here you can see cells make tissues. Tissues together make organ. Organs make organ system, and organ systems make the body of organisms. And because of this reason, this cell is called the structural unit of life. You must understand this, why the cell is called structural unit of life. It's because the structure of living organisms is dependent upon the cells. The cells ultimately combining together, and they're forming the living organisms. So cell is called the structural unit of life. This is a very important line about cell, that cell is the structural unit of life. Now coming to the next lines, all the basic functions of the body like nutrition, respiration, excretion, etc. are carried out by the cell through its cell organelles. So cell is called functional unit of life. चलो ये समझते हैं. First of all, look at these terms. Nutrition. What is nutrition? It is the process in which we, the living organisms, take food, ingest food from our surroundings. That is, we take food from our surroundings, eat it, that is, ingest it, and ultimately we get energy from it. So this process of obtaining this food and getting energy from it is called nutrition. Hope you are clear about it. I repeat, nutrition means it is the process in which we obtain food from our surroundings and we get energy from it. This whole process would be called as nutrition. Then you have respiration. What is respiration? You see, students, you know very well that we take in oxygen through our nostrils, through our nose. This oxygen actually goes to our cells of the body. Okay. We also take food. This food also ultimately goes to our cells. Okay. And in the cells, when this oxygen and when this food, both of them, when they combine together, oxygen plus food, when they combine together in our cells, they produce carbon dioxide, which is called CO2. They also produce water, and the most important one is that they produce energy. So what we got here is that oxygen plus the food that we eat, they form They go to cells and react together and produce CO2, they produce water, and they produce energy. This whole process in which food reacts with oxygen to produce CO2 and water and energy, this whole process is called respiration. We will discuss this in detail in class 10. So, you understood about what is respiration. Then we have a term called excretion. What is excretion? Whatever the waste materials which are produced in our body, which are not required by the body, it must be removed from the body. This process of removal of waste products from our body is called excretion. The carbon dioxide which is produced in our cells, when you inhale, you take in oxygen, right? And when you exhale, you give out carbon dioxide in the air. Why are you giving out carbon dioxide? Because we don't need carbon dioxide in our body. So this comes out. So this is also a waste product of our body, CO2. It must be taken out of the body. This process of taking out the waste products from our body is called excretion. Okay. So all these basic functions of the body, including nutrition, respiration, excretion, all these are actually performed by the cells. And here is a word here which is termed as cell organelles. Cell organelles. Let me explain this. You see, we the human beings have many organs, like we have heart, we have liver, we have stomach, and all these things. Each of these organs perform definite functions. Heart has some basic functions. Liver has other functions. Stomach helps in digestion. Brain is an organ. So all these organs have different functions, and they carry out their functions properly. Similarly, a cell itself has many organs in it. The organs of our body are called body organs, but the organs of cell, they are called cell organelles. This is the difference. Okay? Cell organelles means the organs of the cell. We will not call them cell organs, but we will call them cell organelles. So all the basic functions of the body are performed by the cell organelles, by the cell, with the help of these cell organelles. Like all the functions of our body are performed by our body with the help of organs. Similarly, all the functions is performed by the cell also with the help of cell organelles. That is why the cell is called the functional unit of life. So we covered two things here. We have understood why cell is called structural unit of life. Then we understood why cell is called functional unit of life. Moving ahead, the cells are the smallest units of life which are responsible for keeping an organism alive and functional. The smallest unit of life which is responsible for keeping an organism alive and functional. कोई भी लिविंग ऑर्गेनिज्म अगर अलाइव है, फंक्शनल है, जिंदा है, काम करता है, it's because of the smallest unit called cells. Because ये जो सेल है, it is capable of independent existence. एक ही सेल अगर है, वो भी लिविंग है, वो खुद अपना सब काम कर सकता है, लाइक न्यूट्रिशन, रेस्पिरेशन, एक्सक्रीशन. तो सबसे लाइफ का सबसे छोटा यूनिट क्या हो गया? सेल. That is why the cell is also called the fundamental unit of life, जिसके नाम से ये पूरा चैप्टर है. Okay, so combining all these three together, we can write a sentence nicely that cell is the fundamental, structural and functional unit of life. This is the basic definition of cell. What is a cell? A cell is the fundamental, structural and functional unit of life. Why they are called so, we have already discussed. Now, there is a term called cytology or cell biology. इसका मतलब क्या है? यू सी व्हेन यू आर स्टडिंग द सेल इन डिटेल्स, आप सेल के बारे में जब डिटेल्स पढ़ोगे, सेल के अंदर क्या है, व्हाट इज द स्ट्रक्चर ऑफ सेल, व्हाट इज द शेप ऑफ सेल, व्हाट आर द कंटेंट्स ऑफ द सेल, सेल के अंदर 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 क्या क्या कंपोनेंट्स है, all these things will be studied under a branch of science which is called cell biology or cytology. If you want to define it, we will say the study of cells with their subcellular components, cell ka components, and their functions is known as cell biology or cytology. I hope it is clear. Cell biology or cytology मतलब आप जब सेल के बारे में पढ़ोगे, सेल का कंपोनेंट्स क्या है, सेल का स्ट्रक्चर क्या है, सेल का फंक्शंस क्या है, नॉट ओनली फंक्शंस ऑफ सेल बट फंक्शंस ऑफ ऑल दिस सब कंपोनेंट्स ऑल्सो, then this study is called cytology or cell biology. Okay, so this was the basic introduction about the chapter fundamental unit of life. I hope it is clear to you. If you have any doubts, you can go to the comment section and ask. In short, let me give you a brief summary again. We have learned that our body, the body of living organisms is made up of teeny microscopic units called cell. Our body is made up of microscopic units called cell, and the word cell has been derived from the Latin word called cellula. These 2 points we have learned. Then we have learned the chronology of structure of living organisms, that first of all we will be having cells. The cells will be combining together to form tissues. The tissues will combine together to make organ. Organ will combine together to form organ system, and ultimately the organ systems will combine together to form organism. And I have shown you some diagrams to explain this structure. And we have learned 3 important things about cell, that cell is the structural unit, cell is the functional unit, and cell is the fundamental unit of life. And also we have learned that the study of cell with its subcellular components and their functions is called cytology. Okay, that's it for now.